I, Dr. Rakesh from here, listening English literature, language, and grammar. Dear students, today we will discuss T.S. Eliot's poem Love Song of J.Alfred Prufrock. The poem entitled The Love Song of J.Alfred Prufrock was first published in Poetry, Chicago in June 1915. This poem was the title poem of the first collection of Eliot's poems entitled Prufrock and Other Observations, 1917, published by the Egoist Limited. The Love Song of J. Alfred Prufrock is the most typical and the best known specimen of Eliot's early poetry, which explores the consciousness of a representative denizens cribbed a cabinet and confined in the inferno of the modern city civilization. The name Prufrock was adapted from a local furniture dealer in St. Louis, Missouri. It is reminiscent of certain qualities such a prudence, primeness, preciseness. The poem is an internal monologue. The two persons, I and you, are but two different aspects of Prufrock's own personality. We have to imagine a character speaking the lines and a context in which he speaks them. The context is not absolutely clear, though its broad outlines are obvious enough. The man is going to a sophisticated party, apparently a ladies' occasion of a cultural kind, but one which shares the vacuity of Boston society. Prufrock, however, has a special mission, for he is in love with one of the ladies and he is going to declare it. But he is an irresolute person. For him, even the simplest decision is a matter of strain, speculation, and distress. The poem follows a sort of action. Prufrock goes towards the room where the women are imagining the experience before him. He reaches it in imagination and comes away without having done what he set to do. He is clearly a failure. The poem has an epigraph derived from Dante's Inferno. The epigraph throws a good deal of light on the structure of the poem and on the nature of Prufrock. It shows that Prufrock is conscious of his evil intention but does not want to share it with others to avoid infancy. But does not want to share it with others to avoid infamy. In this poem, the rhymes are mostly functional. Dear students, you are listening. The title epitomizes an important feature of the poem, the fall from the sublime to the low. The love song is sublime of J. Alfred Prufrock is low. If I thought that what I told you would ever be borne by you back to the upper world. I, in my flame, would be silent. But since no one has ever returned from the depth of this pit, I shall speak to you without fear of ill fame. The use of this passage implies that the love song itself is not sung, the love song itself is not sung in the real world. When the evening spreads out in the sky like a patient under anesthesia on a table, you and I, means Prufrock, go out together. Let us walk through some half deserted streets which provide places of rest for poor people. The lodgers in the one night cheap hotels pass restless night and visit restaurants full of sawdust and oyster shells. These streets follow a winding course like a tedious argument of concealed desire and ultimately lead you to an important question. Oh, do not ask me about that nature, that matter. Let us go and make a visit. The women come and go on the room talking of Michelangelo without really understanding his art. Prufrock describes the scene in the evening. There is no movement of the air, the fog is spreading all over the streets. The yellow fog rubs itself on the window panes. It contains a lot of smoke which too covers the window panes. It spreads all over. It licks its tongue into the corners of the evening, lingering upon the pools found in the drains. The fog allows the soot that falls from the chimneys of factories to settle upon its surface. The fog missed the terrace and suddenly jumped up in the soft October night, curled over the house and stayed there. There will be enough time for the yellow smoke that moves along the streets and rubs its back upon the window panes. There certainly be enough time to get ready, to prepare oneself, to meet friends. There will be enough time even for a murder and act of creation, as also time for all the daily routine of work. There will also be time to prepare a question and put it on your plate. There will be time for you as well as time for me, and yet enough time for 100 indecisions and 100 visions and revisions before taking a cup of tea and a toast. In the room, women come and go out talking of Michelangelo. There will be enough time to wonder and ask myself if I have the courage to express my desire. There will be time to turn back and go downstairs, which will disclose the bald spot in the middle of my head. People who see this will say how his hair is growing thin. I may dress well and appear at my best in my morning coat, my smart and stiff collar, my fine necktie held in position by a beautiful pin, but people may not observe my fine dress. People will say, but how his arms and legs are thin. The question is whether I should at all declare my love and therefore disturb the universe. Prufrock asking the question is as big a problem as the very disturbance of the universe. In a little time, there can be decisions and revisions which will in a minute be reversed. Prufrock continues to ponder. I have known all the decisions and revisions and have also known what happens in the evenings, mornings, and afternoons. I have followed the course of modern life by taking a lot of coffee. I have known people singing in the life by taking a lot of coffee. I have known people singing in the restaurants and their voices becoming faint on account of a highly vocal music coming from another room. The question is, how can I therefore speak out my mind? I have known the eyes of ladies or of critics, the eyes that sees you up in a definite phrase, and after that I am leveled. I sprawl on a spin and am afterwards pinned and left wriggling on the wall. The question is, how should I begin my proposal and declare the sum and substance of all my feelings? The important question is, how should I declare my love? I'll have known the arms of women. Prufrock is very familiar with the society women of the day. Their arms are braceleted, white and uncoveted, but when seen against the lamplight, the arms are covered with brown hair. Is it the fragrance of perfume coming from her dress which makes me give up my intent to speak out my love? I should be bold enough to speak out my mind. Even if I do so, let me think how I should begin my proposal. Shall I begin the proposal in the manner? I must say that I have in evenings through narrow streets and observed the smoke coming out from the pipes of the lonely unmarried men in their shirt sleeves looking out of the window. Perhaps this introduction about my loneliness would form a good introduction to my proposal for marriage. I would not speak out, I would rather he a kind of sea species with rough clouds moving quickly across the floors of silent seas. The afternoon and the evening appear to sleep peacefully as though smoothed and comforted by long fingers. Asleep, tired, or pretending to be asleep and resting on the floor here beside you and me. Perhaps after taking tea and snacks, I may have the sense to declare my love and to force the issue. Though I have swept, fasted, and prayed, I imagined that my head has been cut and brought in a platter. I am no prophet, though have suffered a lot of persecution, but that is a different matter. Have observed my agitation at the moment of my achievement. I have seen the God of death laugh at my cowardice, but what could I do? I was diffident and nervous and could not speak out. Even if it was possible for me to speak out, would it have been worthwhile? Would it have been proper after the drinks and snacks served in the fine chinaware to have said a few words and so to say squeezed the universe into a ball and to roll it towards a very important question and to say, I am Lazarus come from the word of to the dead to tell you all that I have been in hell. Perhaps the lady putting a pillow under her head and quite informally would tell me that she did not mean anything. She has no love for him and Prufrock had simply misunderstood her courtesy. Would it have been worth it? Would it have been worth if after all the social gatherings in the evenings and the dooryards and the different streets, the reading of novels, the taking of tea and the dance with the girls wearing skirts touching the floor and so much more even, so it is not possible for me to say that I feel. If a magic lantern could give a picture of my inner feelings on a screen for the lady to see, would it have been worthwhile doing all this? Perhaps the lady would rest herself on a pillow of straw of a shawl and turning towards me would say that she did not mean anything, that is, she had no love for me. Prufrock does not want to make a proposal to his lady on account of the fear of a cold response or a rebuff. Prufrock feels he is indecisive, though he is not like Prince Hamlet. He says, I am not Prince Hamlet, nor was I meant to play the role of Hamlet. I am an attendant lord, a small person who will participate in a procession or take initiative to staging a scene on or stew or advise the prince. I am an easy tool, respectful, glad to be of any service to others, courteous, cautious, and careful, capable of using maxims and proverbs, though sometimes dull, at times ridiculous, and almost a fool. Though I grow old, I shall dress well. I shall wear the bottoms of my trousers rolled. I may part my hair behind. It was bohemian at time. I can dare to eat a beach like a young man. I shall wear white flannel trousers and roam on the sea beach. All this preparation is being made by him for an excursion to the sea in order to be quiet the tedium of his civilized social life. This was not to hide his old age in order to be acceptable to his lady love. I have heard that mermaids sing to one another. I do not think that they will sing to me. I have seen the mermaids riding on the waves as they move further into the sea. They disturb the white foam on the top of waves, and when the wind blows, the water turns white and black. The mermaids seem to sing. We have waited long in the chamber of the sea. We have seen garlanded with red and brown seaweed by seagull until we are disturbed by human voices, and then we dive deep into the sea. Prufrock goes into the fantasy world of unreal love with mermaids, for this is all he can achieve. Thanks, dear brothers and sisters, those who are listening. Very good morning to all of you. May God bless all of you. Thank you.